Old school versus new school. The gaming question, we got the gaming answers. Today on the PB and Cashew Show.
What's up, PB Cashville? It's your boy Cashew.
And it's your boy PB. How you guys doing today?
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. It's a busy week. Baseball season started this week, which was great. And it's cool. There's a lot of folks in the fantasy baseball league, and I don't know why I'm talking a lot about baseball. I just love baseball. As you guys can see, I'm rocking the New York Yankees hat, and for some reason, I'm wearing a Rutgers T-shirt.
We will talk about baseball in future podcast episodes.
Honestly, I didn't know what to wear today. I was just like, do I want to just be kind of relaxed? And so I'm just kind of a little relaxed today. So wearing a Rutgers T-shirt, a Yankee hat, and just rocking that today.
Yeah, that's fine. So, we just want to give you a little update. The update is this. We are planning on making T-shirts in the summer.
Oh, T-shirts. That's right. We're gonna do the reveal of T-shirt now.
No, we don't have that.
Oh.
Whenever we have a chance, we're not in a rush for it, but whenever we get a chance to reveal how it's going to look, we're going to show you it.
Yeah. And when we figure out all the logistics of it, how you guys can order your official PB and Cashew merch, we'll let you guys know in the descriptions below in future videos. So that should be kind of neat.
And then next episode is going to be very interesting. Well, maybe for people that like sports.
Yeah, it's going to be a sports one, everybody. So, maybe still listen to this one, but maybe just put it in the background so we can get it on the stats, I guess.
Well, because NBA season's almost over. We're going to be in the playoffs. We're going to have our little bracket over here to see who's the closest.
The Knicks aren't in the playoffs, sadly, and many of our anti-Knick friends are going to be saying that, oh yeah, the Knicks are in the playoffs, so you guys not probably even going to bother watching basketball anymore. So, but yes, it should be interesting. We're going to try to do some interesting kind of format, and so that's something to look forward to. But we have not done in so many weeks. We have not done shout outs. And I need to give a shout out to one of our solid, faithful PB and Cashew fans. And that's our boy Gio. Gio, I know you're watching and you're listening. And I hope you're tearing up at your new job. So I'm giving you a shout out just to let you know that we appreciate you. So, in fact, you know what? I'll even say this. I'm gonna make a declaration. You will be one of the first people to get a PB and Cashew T-shirt. So, made a declaration right there. So yeah, I just want to give him a shout out in terms of that. But let's get down to business and let's just start talking about
the hunts. You see what
I see what you were there. That was good. A little Mulan action. I like that. So, yes. So we're going to talk about old school versus the new school in terms of video games. And I guess I'll start. I have been a gamer since 1984. Seriously, 1984, I think. So I'm like 2 years old. I think there was an Atari. I didn't know what the joystick was for, but I still enjoyed it. And going through the years, yes, the major things that you'll see is like graphics, right? Storytelling, and a lot of other stuff, which we're going to discuss. So how about this? Matt, you've been a gamer pretty much all your life, just like me. So which would you say was your most, like if you can think of an old school video game moment, your favorite old school video game moment, what would it be?
There's multiple. I like playing the Nintendo 64 when my cousin used to come. We played Super Smash Bros. We played that. We played, I'm trying to remember the game. It's a Rare game. It's literally made by Rare. Gemini?
Oh, Jet Force. Jet Force Gemini? You've played Jet Force Gemini? Oh my goodness.
Yes, that game, me and my cousin used to play. That was a fun one. And then you got like other games. You got Super Mario 64. It's just so many. It's Pokemon Stadium. Then you go to like PlayStation 1, I play like Toy Story, Tarzan. I play a lot of games, and I still play games, to this day.
Mm-hmm.
NBA Live, NBA, all the old NBA games I could think of. There's just multiple, like Banjo Kazooie, all those type of games, and I never played, what's it called, Conquer.
Yeah, we're a family show. We shouldn't be talking about Conquer.
No, I'm just saying, I never, because that's like a lot of people like that. I really never
It's
played the game.
Yeah, I didn't either for the main reason because I heard it's a very raunchy game.
Like,
so.
it's very violent, yeah.
No, it's not violent. It's
kind of violent too.
It's very raunchy. I mean, it's just your typical beat the things like Jet Force Gemini. So props that you like Jet Force Gemini. I love that game.
Is fun.
That game is underrated.
You got Pac-Man. I play I also played the Atari before. Like I played a couple games. It's been a while since I know for that though. Mm. But then like I said, I also play new games too. So like it's back and forth. I've been watching recently this guy named Chaos in the Sky 13, and he plays he plays these type of games. I've been watching some like old games. Like he'd be playing like Sly Cooper. He played this game called Nicktoons Unite, which was in the PlayStation 2. And I love those games right there.
So he's a dude that plays like old school.
He plays
games.
old and new school. So he'll have like he has a Twitch. He plays like Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
All that type of stuff. So it's pretty cool watching him.
Mm.
I'm in Sly 3. I gotta be honest with you. I never played really Sly Cooper like that.
Mm.
But I played it once. I don't know which one it was, but I did play one of them. But I never got far in it. But it's actually a really fun game, And just watching him do the gameplay of it, it's really fun.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a resurgence is the trying to bring back old games again, which honestly we should do an episode about reboots because we need to stop.
Well, there's some reboots that I thought was pretty good. Like for example, have you ever played SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom?
No, I don't have a PS4 anymore. Remember?
No, but I'm saying they came out. It was first for the PlayStation. You never played that game? Well, that was a fun game. And then they made SpongeBob Rehydrated, which I thought was pretty good. Which IGN, I'm gonna say this right here, IGN and GameSpot, sometimes are horrible at reviewing these games. SpongeBob Rehydrated is an easy kids game, and they gave it a 3.5 because someone said, "Oh, it's very difficult and hard." And I'm like, what? It's a kids game. It's so easy.
I want to go there. Yeah, it's weird. That is a little weird. Wait, they rated it that because it was difficult?
That's basically what it was. Like I don't know. It was weird. Like I said, IGN. Sometimes I don't like their ratings. Like I'll give you a good example. They gave I think they gave Grand Theft Auto 4 like a 10, I think it was, or something like that. And
okay.
I'm just like, it's not really a 10 to me. It was more like a 9 to 9.5 in my opinion.
Right.
But I don't know. But like I said,
still a high rating.
It is still a high rating, but Grand Theft Auto 4 was not bad though. It was actually pretty good,
Yeah, the story was pretty good. So, one thing that I think that one of the major problems I think with the gaming nowadays, though, again, I want to just go back to that reboot point real quick, is because I think that it's whenever you reboot something, it's kind of lazy. Would you agree? Because again, you're not innovating as much as you should. You're just like, oh, you know what? This was really cool back in like the 90s, or this was really cool back in the 2000s. So instead of making a brand new game, I'm just going to rehash this old game.
Well, it also depends on what the people like us, gamers want. Some gamers do like reboots, Some gamers will be like, okay, I'll give you a good example. You know what reboot I wish they'll make? Simpsons Hit and Run. Because the Simpsons Hit and Run was actually a pretty fun game. I'm waiting for them to say, hey, let's make a reboot of that, There's a lot of THQ, I don't know what happened there, but they were supposed to reboot a lot of their Nickelodeon games, That's why SpongeBob Rehydrated was made. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to do TAC again, all that, like rebooted to the new graphics, new gen and stuff like that. Which to me, I'm fine with that, because, sometimes we miss those type of games.
I agree.
What I think should happen sometimes is, like, if they really want to do that, they should try to revamp it and make a new game. Try to figure out where they left off and try, if they can,
Because, one of the the things I think in general in terms of media is that you're seeing that your reboots everywhere. Uh,
But
I,
it's not only in video games. You also got
that's what
shows.
I meant.
Just in general.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like in all media, like there's always these reboots that's going on. So in terms of that, it's I think that there's not as much creativity. That's I think that's one of the major differences from how it was back then to how it is now. It's because you had such limited hardware, you had such limited programming skills that you had to make do with what you had. Like I have this small Atari, and all it has is pixels, and you had to make a game that was awesome just based on these pixels.
Well, you gotta understand too, though. It's like we're in a new era, and not only that, now that you need more space to make new games.
That's the other,
You need a lot of more space. Like
but that's also like the problem. Like when, for example, let's give the example of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Looks, have you ever heard of it? It's for PC, and you need like a super high powered gaming PC for it to actually run. I tried to run it on the same computer that we used to run the podcast, and it nearly melted my thing because it just will not work.
yeah, because
But
technology is getting up there.
yeah, it's such a so much more in terms of uh, the hardware. And that's the thing that I just hate. Like you have to keep buying new hardware in order to be able to play these new games. It's like I have to buy it, and so it's much faster now. It used to be like you could have played your N64 for at least a couple of years, but then now it's like I gotta like my Xbox or not my PlayStation 4 is gonna be obsolete already, or the current or the games that are gonna be made for it are gonna be so bad because they're focusing on the new system. And also again, that's not just with games and gaming; it's with everything. Like I just got a phone, and now there's a new phone, and then in 2 months there's yet another new phone, and then it's like, why can't you just like space out these tech upgrades? It's so crazy.
Because it's like every day technology just keep advancing.
But I think it's advancing too fast. I think because and it's advancing too fast, and you have to keep upgrading it every single time, and I don't know, that seems kind of wrong to a certain extent.
Well, let me ask this question: is it more the technology or the consumer?
I think it's both.
Because if you think about it,
It's got to be both because I think that um, everybody just keeps innovating. Actually, no, wait. Hang on a sec. Let me think about this for a sec.
because if you think about it, if the consumers,
No, you're right.
if the consumers didn't want it, need this, need that, don't, because we always want something new, and that's like almost every day we want something new.
Hmm.
Then that's why technology is advancing. If you want to be honest with you.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
Because
Because
if you think about it, Apple already knows that pretty soon people, I got the iPhone 13, right, Pro Max, or I think it's called Pro Max.
Mhm.
People are pretty soon going to want the iPhone 14. That's just how it is, and so that's why they just advance technology, because that's what we want.
so well. So you're saying then the reason why that there's this advance in technology is because of consumers?
Yeah,
Because
it can be.
so why is
consumers.
that? Why is that then? Why is it that in terms of technology, like whether it's gaming or your phones, that it like you have to advance the technology so much faster? Why?
This is how we are. It's just, I guess, I don't know. Maybe our attention span. Maybe it's just what we want. Yeah, it's just that's how it is. Because I guarantee you, Apple will say, "Oh, we're making an Apple, iPhone 14." Boom, people don't want to buy that. Then 6 months later, we're making an iPhone, let's say 14.5. Boom, people don't want to buy that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is. We just want to buy things. We just need it. And we see that it has better technology or it's more
Mhm.
advanced. We're like, we need that. You
Yeah.
know. And that's why technology keeps advancing, because they know that we're gonna need it.
Yeah.
We're gonna want it. That's how we are. We just want things.
It's I have to agree with that. That's true because one of the reasons and that I got rid of my PlayStation 4 was because it was so easy for me to buy new games like that because it's instant and you can get it. Like I remember before, it took a while for like a game to come out
Yeah,
because people had to develop it and it took the time for it. But then now there's been all of these different things that you're hearing about where there's developer crunches, where the company's just pushing them just to push out this game. Like, and they don't even have the quality for it. And then you have these really, really bad games. Like the ones that I can think of off the top of my head, and there's tons of them, is the WrestleMania 2K series. There was
the
that.
WWE one?
There was a WWE one that was just terrible.
Oh, WWE 2K2020.
Yeah, that was just
but you know what?
terrible.
They rebounded though, because WWE. I have WWE 2K22, and that is actually pretty.
No,
good.
but that's
fun.
But that's the problem. Like, if I'm the first time that I'm buying is particular. This is what I like about the old school. When you bought a game, that game is finished. That game is polished. Yeah, it may have some quirks or anything like that, but there's, for the most part, if I went back in 1990, pick a year, 1990.
1992?
1992. Go to 1992, I could go to the shelf and pick up a copy of Super Mario World or Legend of Zelda, and that's a complete, full-fledged game.
Well, remember this, too. There's another thing, too, to this, is that back then, it wasn't like you need online. You know, back then it's like, okay. So for example,
you need a line?
Online. So
okay.
some games you had to, if you want to play some games, you need online to play it.
Oh, that's a modern thing,
that's
which I hate.
Which is now
which is stupid, and I hate it.
Which, like I said, technology just advanced. You know, it's just and gaming's just advancing a lot. And I could say one thing. I'll say one thing about old games, and it's the one thing I can say is that they really did take time, to make games.
Right.
They really did take time.
And it's complete.
Yeah, it is complete.
It's
they
complete.
They did a lot with the story. Yeah, I get that, and the reason why was like, because technology, the graphics weren't really advanced. Like, think about it. Let's talk about games like old games that had some good stories to it.
Oh,
Super Mario 64.
No, let's even go back further.
We can even go back further.
Like just the original Super Mario series. That was easy. The Zelda series.
Yes.
And I know we're doing a lot of Nintendo, but a lot of the ones that Square had, the Final Fantasy series, the early RPGs, very simple.
Resident Evil was pretty good.
The first one.
Grand Theft Auto 3, when that came out, graphics, that was good. So there was games that were good. There was games that you could go back to it. Pac-Man was fun. Let's be honest. Pac-Man, you just buy, you're going against the ghost, but it was fun.
Nope. I'm even gonna go much simpler than that. Tetris, yeah,
exactly.
Think about it. Tetris. I forgot to do the research, but Tetris has been around like forever. And then recently they've done a lot of revamps. They've done a lot of different things. They've added new things to it. But in the end, it's still the same concept of making lines with blocks. Lines with blocks. That's all it is.
True.
But
I also believe too, to me, I feel like it's also who's developing the game. Like, for example, Rockstar, they take a while to make their games.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Look, Grand Theft Auto 5. We're waiting for a Grand Theft Auto 6, and they finally announced it, but they're still making content for Grand Theft Auto 5. And then Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2, the story's pretty good. And they take their time. I'm trying to think of the other one. Rocksteady, who made the Batman Arkham Asylum games, they did really well in their games, So like
the Sony with God of War,
so
Sony with the whole Spider-Man franchise,
Sly Cooper. That's what I'm saying. There's some
the Uncharted.
There's some gaming companies that are good
that do care.
Yeah, Insomniac is obviously going to care. So there are some and then there are some that's like they don't. Like, for example, let's be honest. Activision.
No, I think there's when we're talking about like gaming companies that we hate. I think you could say it. I'll count to 3, and we will both say the gaming company that you and I absolutely hate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. EA.
Yeah, I was thinking. The reason, EA. Let's be honest. EA does have some good games. But
no.
Listen, the problem with EA is the microtransactions. EA is always doing microtransactions. Star Wars Battlefront 2, when it first came out, all microtransaction, like mostly microtransaction. But then they fixed it. But it was kind of too late. People kind of got mad and like forget this. So EA, I feel like it's more for microtransactions. That's what gets me so mad.
It's not just the microtransactions. It's not just the microtransactions. And we talked about this before, and I'm going to say it again. It's that you're just releasing the same game every single year.
I mean, I don't know.
It is.
'Cause
I've played the same game of Madden since 2020,
they don't only-
2002.
if we're talking about EA Sports, but EA doesn't only make Madden. EA also makes other games. Like for example, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, right?
No,
Back
but
then?
the thing about it is because you bought LucasArts and then you just controlled everything, and now look, you don't. It does. LucasArts doesn't have that same level of freedom and creativity that it used to be. When I heard that EA bought LucasArts years ago, I was like, that's really, really going to be bad for
Have you ever played
LucasArts.
Star Wars though? The Jedi Fall. Is it Jedi Fallen Order?
That
The newer one.
that's the exception to the rule. But prior to that, if you were
I
playing
think they also-
if you're playing a EA game, I mean a Star Wars game, and it was just predominantly made by EA. It was just Battlefront, and they even managed to mess that up. Like, look, if you go and play Battlefront, like old school classic Star Wars Battlefront, you'll have a great time. But again, just as Matt had said, the current one, it's a mess. So
Let me see what games they have because I feel like EA has a lot more games than what we're talking about Madden. Don't they have? Okay, so let's see. Battlefield 224.
they had they had the
242 was bad. I heard FIFA. Yeah, Lost Arcade, Madden 22.
because
Knockout City, that was not bad. Mass Effect, they've made Mass Effect. Except for the
No,
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect also had its problems too.
Have you ever Mass
I
Effect?
played
1, 2, 3 were awesome.
I know, but it also were buggy as heck.
What else we got? We got
So, but
Medal of Honor. They make Need for Speed.
Need for Speed, there's nothing new with like
Star
Need for
Wars
Speed.
Squadron. They make some pretty good. They make some. You can't only say it's only about the sports. I feel like EA has been making some games that have actually been pretty good. Like Need for Speed for me is always going to be fun. I honestly believe Need for Speed is going to be mostly fun. They also make Plants vs Zombies. A lot of people like that game.
It's a casual gamer game, but still, like
I also think, if I'm not mistaken, they're also part of I think they also made Tomb Raider, but I'm not sure. I gotta look that up.
Eidos Interactive, I think got bought out by them. I think I'm not sure,
believe
but
so. So yeah, I'm not gonna say EA doesn't make good games because they still make some good games.
mhm.
It's just the microtransactions. That's all it is for me. Activision's the same
No,
way.
but
Activision's
but
the
everybody-
same way too with microtransactions though. Like they just put it too much. Like it's kind of annoying.
But everybody does microtransactions now anyway. It's kind of like
It depends on how much you put in it though. Like Activision could put a lot because of Call of Duty. EA could put a lot because of sports games. NBA, 2K does it a lot with sports games too. With NBA, microtransactions. So it all depends.
I think that's the other thing too. Like when I don't like the fact that you always have to pay for additional content. I really dislike that. Like if it's like a roster update, if it's, let's say, a roster update for a sports game, and you pay like not $4 or $5 for it, that's, I guess, fine. But I think a roster update shouldn't be something that you pay for. But nowadays, it's always, if you want to unlock a game or if you want to unlock the full parts of the game, you have to purchase all of these season passes and such.
I think it's a little different than that though. I think they just do it to add content so people can
No,
keep
but it's
going for it.
no. If you look in the code of some of these games, it's in there. It's already in there. When you bought the game or you installed the game, it's already in there.
But it's so they could buy it, so the consumer could buy it.
No, but that doesn't make any sense. Why am I going to pay $60 for a game, and then in that game is all of this extra content, right?
So they can make money.
I know, but that's the problem.
And then we fall for it.
Yeah, exactly. We do, and that's the reason why I stopped going on PlayStation, because it's like I have to buy all of these expansion packs or these different things. Even sometimes right now I'm playing on Steam, and that's the same thing. It's like there's all of these things that you have to unlock, or it's an expansion pack, and it's like almost, and the total cost of those expansion packs is like the price of another game.
I think okay, so I think the reason why they do that though is because remember how we were talking about you need a lot of space now. So like if you get a disc, it needs a lot of space. That's probably why they have to do it sometimes. Because if they put all those things that we're talking about,
No,
you know how much
no,
gigabytes is gonna be
no,
though?
Matt. But that's the thing. It's like, okay, I see what you mean there.
That would be more than 200 to 300 gigabytes.
So then there's got to be a way then to maybe slow down. I don't know how that's going to be, but I think that's a consumer thing. But I think we just need to slow down because
Best option for them, if that's the case, is like maybe every 3 months. If you have, maybe every other 3 months to make content. If you have content,
no,
let it out. Don't put it out every week or
yeah,
every
like
month.
let the game.
Fortnite does it. I think Fortnite. We talked about this in the last one. Fortnite does it the best. I feel like where they just give out content and they just keep giving out content, but it's like not you don't really have to spend for that content.
Right, exactly. It's reasonable. But I think when we're picking on EA Sports, I think predominantly here. But yeah, I don't. I think that I find that kind of also morally wrong, and also the whole thing with CG Project Red with. Oh, they promised this game to be really, really, really good and complete, but if you have a previous generation system, you're screwed, and it's not it's crazy.
That's
and,
another way so they could just buy the upgrade it so they can make more money.
Right.
See, that's what it is. It's a business.
It is a business.
It's like the same thing. It's like the same thing we talk about with like basketball and baseball with all these.
It's a
players.
business.
It's a business. So they're gonna try and find a way to make more money off the consumers, and then we do that. We pay that.
So the conclusion then is the reason why we have problems with gaming companies is because we're stupid consumers. We are stupid consumers. Because it seems that whenever we have particular content that's released or there's a particular thing, we just buy it. We just buy it. Just buy it, regardless of price. And it could be complete garbage. It could be complete trash. But because we're so, oh, this is the franchise, I gotta show my support for this particular thing, we'll still buy it. And you know what? It doesn't matter anymore to the gaming company because you already bought the product. Like one of the best examples of this was when people bought whose records they bought Dr. Dre's The Chronic. It's his Dr. Dre's rap album. Dr. Dre's rap album, and just for the sake of burning them. But then Dr. Dre, I asked him, Dr. Dre, what do you think? I said, I don't care. You bought the album.
Yeah.
That's the same mentality that these gaming companies I think have. And so again, I give a shout out to a lot of those indie games, and this is what I like about Steam. I like about Steam because there's a lot of hidden gems out there. There's like games just like Stardew Valley. It was made by just one guy. Simple, no microtransactions or anything like that. You may pay for a new upgrade or anything, but it's still simple, fun to play, and it's made by, and it encourages the creativity again.
Yeah,
that freedom.
That's how it is with indie games. Indie games are always going to get that, like, it's going to be full, it's not going to be like a gaming company. Because indie games, they're more, some people, they're more separate,
Because they're gamers, too. They understand the same problem. I think that's one of the most awesome ways to really stick it to the companies. Make your own game. Like, I was, when I was still at Manhattanville, a bunch of us tried to get together and tried to create a mech-based RPG game. And what we were going to do was we were going to make it 16-bit. Just like Chrono Trigger. And they were saying, why should we do that? Because it'll be easy for everybody to get. Like, you could play it on your phone. You could play it on your computer. And what's happened now? Most of the really cool content now, sprite-based games. 3D sprite-based games. Because I don't need like a mega colossal PC to be able to play it. I don't need a PlayStation 6 to be able to play it. I can play it on an old computer. Like, it's so it's and that's awesome, and I think that's what really needs to be. We need to be better consumers, and
I'm not gonna lie though. There are some good games that look like games that look good that are coming out soon though. Like I'm gonna tell you, Saints Row, the reboot of it, that's gonna look like it looks fine. You got Gotham Knight, basically,
yeah,
that's gonna look fine.
and don't get me wrong, like, continue to make these high quality games, but make sure that they're high quality games. Make sure that the $70 that I'm plopping down to purchase your product is the best kind of product. Don't make me pay $70 just so that you can charge me another $30 or another $70 to get the full experience of this game.
There's another thing I think we forgot to mention, and this is actually true, is that sometimes though these developers they'll make the game and they don't know that it's gonna lag out of nowhere or be buggy, so then they do patches. That's one thing I like. There's some developers that I do like when they realize, oh, this is really bad, like, or it's like buggy and stuff. Let's do patches.
But sometimes, but the just to counter that, Matt, the thing is sometimes just one patch won't work. All of that stuff has to be done before even the product's released.
But you sometimes you can't even. Me personally, I'm gonna say it.
Then
It's
don't
tough.
release. Then don't release the game. If it's crap and you have to patch it like every week, don't release the game.
I don't think it's more like the game is crap. It's just that you never know what's gonna happen. You know.
But that's what testing's all about. That's what beta testing is for.
Yeah,
that's
beta testing works, but at the same time, sometimes I'm being honest. Sometimes it could work, but there are times where they'll release something, and the server could crash because there's so many people that want to play it. That's not on them. It really is not really on them.
Yes, it is.
And then they patch it and they fix
yes,
it.
it is. It's because you failed to kind of, first off, one, you decided to release something that, you want to go back to EA? Great example where EA did that. They released SimCity. SimCity was amazing, and this could be my final thought, but I'm not sure yet. SimCity, a simple game. You are the mayor of a city. You get money in, you build said city. That's all SimCity is. Then EA purchased Maxis, which is the company that makes SimCity. And for a while, it was awesome. The graphics were better, the game was still simpler, but then all of a sudden they released the most recent version. It looked great, but you had to play it online. You had to be online, and then all of a sudden, and they said, "Oh, it's a waste that we can share the cities, and everybody's building a city together." Then the servers crash, and it's terrible. So I'm glad that there was another developer that made another game called what's called City Skylines, which goes back to being offline. You can share your cities with other people, but you have to be online to play it. So, again, that's the fault of the company.
A server crash? I don't know, man.
A server crash is the fault of the company
maybe sometimes.
because you
Let me ask you a question.
decided to release a particular product that's online only,
Let me ask
which
you a
is
question.
dumb.
Let me ask you this question. What if, let's say they develop it, the testing went well, but they let it out, and it's still a server crash? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes like they'll test the game out, and the server will just crash. It's because a lot of people play it.
No, but that's the point. Why does it have to be online only? Why does it need a server to do it?
It's not only online. You can also do single player. But sometimes when you want, but what I'm saying is most of the time, since we're in the new era, right? We're literally in a new era. And most of the games are online, so people can play multiplayer. Which I get that. I do understand it.
Yeah,
it's a new era. It's something we had to like.
When I just in terms of that, like when I got what's it called, Black Ops 4, when I got my PlayStation 4, I was so excited. Then there's no campaign. The campaign is the tutorial.
That's Call of Duty. That's Call of Duty though. Call of Duty is just weird sometimes.
Yeah, so like I missed the fact that you could buy a copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare and not spend a single hour online and still have a pretty decent experience. Like, for example, what's one mission that you can remember from Call of Duty Modern Warfare that everybody remembers?
Well, there's one because I've tried to get an achievement called Mile High Club.
Okay, but what's one of those key moments?
Are you talking about the one where
you are in the
Price. It was Price, right?
No, you're in the AC-130. That you are flying an AC-130, and then you're just boom, like just.
Oh, bombing everything.
And it,
Basically.
I was like, that's unique, and that's awesome, and that's worth my $60. Experiences like that, but nowadays it's like, oh no, everything's online.
But that's Call of Duty. There's other games out there that has a story. Like, okay, I'll give you a good example. Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a single player, not multiplayer, had a good story.
Yeah, Spider. And I'm not saying that these aren't out there, but I'm just stating that this is the problem.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yeah, don't no.
Red Dead Auto 5, they had some good story modes.
They do.
There's some games that have still good story modes, you know. So,
but I think.
But we're like, so it's Activision. When it comes to Call of Duty, let's be honest. When it comes to Call of Duty, it's just you can't compare Call of Duty to those type of games because Call of Duty is just people just want to play multiplayer.
Yeah, that's so just
issue.
So.
But
do the same. If you're gonna do it that way, do the thing that that Counter-Strike did. You just release the same one, but don't make me buy the same game over and over and over and over and over again. That's the thing that I hate. Like having to buy the same game over and over and over again, and it's no different from the previous one. That's probably my biggest peeve with it.
Which most of the times we already know that it's mostly 2K, EA, Call of Duty, Activision, stuff like
because
that.
Because those are the major big players. Those are the money makers.
Rockstar, even though Grand Theft Auto, it's always different.
Because the time you take the time to make the movie. To make the game.
People who make Saints Row, they make it a lot different. So there's some games still out there. I feel like that make Rocksteady, who like I said made Batman Arkham Asylum. There, all the games were different. So there's just a lot. Like I said, it depends on the game developer, honestly.
So final thoughts, because we could talk about this all day, but final thoughts. Number one, as a consumer, you need to be smarter. Stop buying the same game over and over and over and over and over again. Until new innovations definitely happen, a new shooting mechanic doesn't warrant me spending $70 on a new game completely. Or that, the sweat physics is even better. Again, I'm probably just
nitpicking a lot.
Nitpicking on certain things, but just as an example, I think we just need to be better consumers. For developers, there's some developers there that are taking the time to do to make good games and continue to do that. And other developers that aren't doing that ought to follow suit. And for the indie folks, keep on keeping on, man. Innovate, imagine, and then really show like the big guys that the little guys know where it's at. Any final thoughts on your end, Cash?
Just that. Make sure you don't be always a nitpicking like PB.
I tell it like it is, man. I'm old school. Because I liked having one game that, look at this, like, I guess this is my other final thought. Like, you could buy one game, and sometimes that one game is the only game that you had, and you just played it over and over and over and over and over again, and it was still pretty good. Like, I had Super Mario World for at least 2 or 3 years, and every single time I played it, it was still always a lot of fun to play. I had Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball, which I played the heck out of. Legend of Zelda, to this day, if I had a Super Nintendo and I still had it, it would still have the same lasting effect.
Let's say this. I'll say one final thought, and that's this. Nintendo knows what they're doing.
We didn't mention Nintendo at all here.
Nintendo's are the ones that actually always, have good story modes, good story, and they just... I don't know, man. Nintendo just know what they're doing. That's all I gotta say for my final thought.
Yeah, Nintendo, you don't apply to this one because you always do it right, and you give the people what they want. But I still would really like to get a Switch. So if anybody wants to sell me their Switch or wants to give me a Switch for my birthday, please do. Anyways, well, for all of us here at PB and Cashew, as we say every week, we don't know ya, but we love ya. And there's a God above that does. I'm PB.
And I'm Cashew.
Peace out, PB Cashewville.